Очень интересно. У нас еще есть дополнительный вопрос, который приходит. Спасибо большое за аплодисменты. Дополнительный вопрос, Diane, к вам касательно совета директоров, где вы стоите, компании Google, поскольку в зале большое количество пользователей компании Google знает большое количество сервисов, и возникает вопрос, что происходит в том случае, если компания запускает сервис, который становится неуспешным? То есть, как у предпринимателей бывают идеи, которые не выстреливают и не зарабатывают на этом денег. Что происходит в компании Google? И сколько это нормально, если нас бывает? Спасибо.
Do you mean if Google launches a service and it doesn't work?
Yep.
I think Google has shut down many of its projects. In fact, Google has become extraordinarily focused since Larry Page became the CEO. Larry Page is one of the founders. And what Google does is it has very coordinated effort and very strategic bets it makes. And it's constantly, the company is very data-driven, constantly gathering data. And if something, the company has something called Google Labs, where people, if someone has a really big idea, they can vet it. And if Google thinks it's a really good idea, and Sergey Brin, the other founder, is running Google Labs, then it can go into the labs, and they're funded to build it and see if they can transfer it into a product. And again, if that doesn't make it to product, it stops. And if it makes the transfer, the people that started it go with it to make it a product. So two of the well-known projects in Google Labs are Google Glasses that let you take pictures and see mails and maps just by looking straight ahead. And another well-known one is the Google driverless car, a car that doesn't need a person to drive it. So those are very public Google Labs projects that still are not real products, but are looking very much like they will be. But there's also some Google projects that have been shut down, and not all of them are public.
Вопрос вот какой. Многие не просто какую-то идею изобретают, а берут, вот, смотрят, что на Западе работает, копируют ее, развивают в России, и получается новый сервис. Ну, есть примеры всем известные, когда был создан сервис, потом западная компания зашла на российский рынок и купила сразу же этот сервис. Вот как вы считаете, какой путь копикэт модели? Насколько он приемлем? Обязательно ли нужно что-то свое сначала привносить? Или, в принципе, можно использовать какие-то западные аналоги, а потом их развивать?
I don't know that there are any truly new ideas. My company innovated in that we brought virtualization to market after people thought it had died, but the idea had already been invented. Or Google, there were already search engines out there. Google just did a better job, much better job. And so I think there's degrees of copying, and where it's a very sensitive issue even in the United States because patent issues. You know, we try and protect intellectual property with patents, but the patent offices can't keep up with all the patents, and there's really bad patents, you know, on things that never, you know, are so obvious that nobody should have a patent on them. And it's really causing a lot of problems, for instance, in the mobile phone industry. So, you know, it's a funny thing. I mean, if all you do, if you're copying with integrity, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's good to, you know, if someone breaks into a company and steals their truly steals their intellectual property, that kind of copying is against the law. but if you're copying legally and you're making it better, that can be part of innovation.
Многие присутствующие здесь молодые инноваторы, у которых есть идея, может быть, какая-то компания в сидовой стадии в самом начале. Вот максимально конкретно, если можно. Первые шаги. Понятно, удача, уверенность, вера в себя, но вот конкретно, какие первые шаги для молодого инноватора вы бы порекомендовали, ну, вот для того, чтобы компания получилась успешной?
I'll just make a few comments based. I do a lot of work with startups. I'm actually also working on my own next startup, but in the last 4 years, I think I've invested in 15 or 16 companies, early stage startups. And one thing that I really look for is the people. And I really think it's important to have a founder that it really increases the chance of success if one of the founders has the potential to scale up and be the CEO for the long term. That's ideal. Not required, but it's really good. And they don't necessarily have to have a business background. Very smart engineers can learn to do business, but they need to have the right characteristics. And so you look for founders that can scale. And I also like it when there's more than one founder and they have a very good partnership. It increases your chances of success if you have someone to play devil's advocate with, to partner with, to move the company forward. I don't think I wouldn't do a company by myself. I always want a partner. And then the last thing is to get very, this is something that I shy away from if I don't see it when I'm looking at a company, to help. And to be able to be very concrete about the very first milestone and what value it will create. And I always say, whatever your first milestone is, make sure it has value. If you can't sell it to the end user, at least have value that you could sell it to a company. And hopefully you'll go to your big vision, but think of it in terms of value creation milestones.